Greetings, and welcome to another special episode of Out the Box Talks. I am your host, Cril. We are at episode 81. I am so excited to be at this point. I was thinking to myself earlier, and I was like, man, being in the 80s is such a special thing because I feel like I'm getting closer to 100. And what that actually means is that before this year is over, I'll get to the 100th episode if I keep at the rate that I'm at, right? And that's exciting for me because I don't think I've ever gotten to anything 100 or kept count of anything 100 when it comes to Out the Box, right? Like even with Out the Box TV, I'm sure I've surpassed, 100 interviews. But in total, like I've never kept track or kept count of it in a consistent manner. So I'm really excited as we near closer to the 100th episode, and hopefully I'm able to do something, really special for that. But I want to thank all of our viewers, our listeners for tuning in, staying connected with Out the Box, supporting the platform. It means so much. If you're a Patreon subscriber, thank you. If you've donated, thank you. If you've bought merch, thank you. It means so much. I just want to plug the websites again. So if this is your first time checking out this platform, you can visit our website, outtheboxmedia.com, to keep connected with, all of the recent and previous episodes we've done, the variety of interviews we've done with hip hop and soul artists. Also, if you have been checking out the platform and you like what you hear and you feel like the artists that we interview and what we stand for resonates with you and you want to support, you can support by picking up some merch on our website, outtheboxmedia.bigcartel.com. Also, I'll make sure I put these web links in the description for you to check out and go to. Then if you want to donate, you could donate via PayPal at paypal.me/outtheboxmedia, or you can donate via Cash App with the cash tag OutTheBoxRep. You can send a Cash App to that cash tag OutTheBoxRep. And last but not least, if you want to become a member of our Patreon site, right, and you want to support us and get exclusive interview access, right? So these are interviews that I don't put out, we don't put out for the public. It's only if you are a Patreon subscriber. So you can go to the Patreon page, patreon.com/outtheboxmedia, and it's a small fee. It's only like $2 a month. So it's at least over about 22 exclusive interview clips with various artists. And if you just go to this link, patreon.com/outtheboxmedia, you'll get a glimpse of who these exclusive interview clips are, like the different artists. And yeah, man, so if you want to support, you can support in that way as well. And also, I wanted to also mention, if you are checking us out on YouTube, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Out the Box TV, if you have not subscribed yet. And if you are not aware, we also have the podcast available on platforms like Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. It's the high quality audio podcast that you can find Out the Box Talk. So you got to do is search for Out the Box Talks. All right. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. As always, I got a dope artist, special talent for you in each episode that we do. Almost every Friday, we do a new episode that features a really talented hip hop artist. And this brother just fits the bill. He stays with that, that title of dope artist, in my opinion. And I'm so excited to talk to him today. He's actually hailing from Michigan. And you know what it is about the Michigan MCs, man, Detroit, and just a lot of the artists that I've featured on this platform that represent that Michigan area. They always have something really dope or clever to offer as artists. And I'm so excited to bring this brother to the platform. He put out a few projects this year. The first one came out in March, entitled Normalizing Growth. And then the second one came out in May, entitled The Rise of SX Heisenberg. And he's been putting out music since 2019. If you go to his Bandcamp page, there's a number of, singles he's put out like consistently, like year after year since 2019. So, yeah, man, definitely somebody who is dedicated to the craft and consistent as an MC. And again, like I said, I'm really excited to have him on the show. So without further ado, I want to welcome to our Out the Box Talks listening and viewing audience, my brother hailing from Michigan, the MC himself, Mr. Mark Sachs. Welcome to Out the Box Talks.
What's going on, brother? I'm really glad to be here, man. Before we continue, bro, congratulations, man. 81, if anything, is is a beautiful thing, man. And congratulations on taking the journey from idea to logistics to fruition, man. It's a heck of a journey, man, and it's a long road to the beginning of anything. And I greatly appreciate you. People like yourself are exactly the type of people that artists like me build a career upon, man. It's very noisy in this world, and anybody that would take an opportunity to listen to what people I'm sure I could speak for every artist that has been on your platform when I say thank you, bro. Like, we're all still like sort of adjusting how we make that happen, to get people to listen, and you're somebody that listens, man. So before we even get into it, man, I just want to thank you and congratulate you, brother.
I appreciate that, brother. Thank you so much, man. I'm so excited, man, for this interview because your music is so refreshing. It's like, like when you find like a gem that you weren't like checking for.
Thank you.
I feel like your music embodies, man. So it's just as much a pleasure being able to build with you. Before we get into your music, which I'm going to be mainly talking about the two projects that you released this year.
Mm-hmm.
I do want you to give the audience some insight on how you got started with emceeing, like what made you decide that music was the path for you. This music was the path for you.
Well, I went into the armed forces, into the Air Force when I was 17, and I was always in choirs. I was a church kid growing up, and I was always in the choirs and always made music that way. I liked hip hop, you know what I mean? I thought it was really cool, but my first duty station was in Oklahoma. It was a really small base called Altus in the middle of nowhere, man. You had to drive an hour just to get to something called the mall. The entire city had 3 stoplights. Wasn't nothing going on, man. And most of the people around me were not people that shared the same skin color that I did. And I was bored, man. I needed to express myself badly, and hip hop was the answer, man. So I started just kind of like writing down raps, and they had at the community center on base, they had like a makeshift studio in there, and I would go in there and I kind of started messing around, and that's really where it started. Just me wanting to express myself, right? Like I didn't feel like I fit, you know what I mean? And so hip hop gave me a voice for me to fit. You know what I mean? Now that's a very long distance from thinking I could make a career of it, right? But I hope that answers the question as directly as possible.
Nah, thank you for breaking that down, man. I always like to give the artist, especially if it's the first time on the platform, an opportunity to really talk about what got them started on this music path.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to really jump into the latest project that you have out.
Good.
How do you pronounce it? Is it SX Heisenberg or Sax Heisenberg?
Socks. So SX is actually short for SOX, socks, right? It's phonetically, the name is Mark Socks, right?
Right.
My given name is Mark, and I always had a thing for socks, right? So called myself Mark Socks. I took the A out, made the MRK Michigan Rap King, kept the socks what it was. You know what I mean? Changed it to SOX instead of SOCX. Just let me CK just because I like how it looks. So it's Rise of SX Heisenberg or Rise of SX Heisenberg, whichever way you want to say it. You know, it's hip hop. It's hip hop, man. So I like that people own it however they want to own it, right? Like I'm cool with it. You dig? So yep. Rise of SX Heisenberg.
Dope. And let me just ask you, because I didn't get a chance to ask you this earlier. Mm-hmm. What part of Michigan are you actually from?
Detroit, born and raised, man.
Detroit, okay, beautiful.
Born across the street from Motown, dude. Yeah.
Yes, I recognize that line. I want to actually talk to you.
Yeah,
but
sure.
The album is titled SX Heisenberg. Like, why'd you choose to go with, I guess, the Heisenberg part or that title?
Right. Well, shout out to my guy Clint Taylor, who produced both of those projects that you're gonna ask about. Mm-hmm. So we were doing a lot of work without even knowing exactly what it was gonna be for, right? Like I kind of found my match in that he's always in the lab, you know, he's always working, he's always cooking, and so am I. And I always tell people who want to work with me, when they ask to work with me, always tell them it's a natural progression of our relationship. Like, don't worry about it. Like, don't sweat it, right? Send me some heat. I'm most likely gonna get to it. I'm just always 2 or 3 projects ahead. So you just got to be patient with me. Like, if I tell you I love what you're doing and keep sending me music, I mean it, right? Because I'm going to get to it. It's not really an issue of if, it's when, you know. And so that's what he did. You know what I mean? He just kept sending me music, and then I got to the point where I really started listening to what he was doing, and I was sending songs right back. We just kind of going through it. At the same time that this is happening, I discover, which is very late, I might add, the series Breaking Bad on Netflix, right? And the main character, Walter White, goes by the street name Heisenberg. Are you familiar with the series of Breaking Bad?
I'm familiar of it, but I haven't even gotten a chance to look at it. So you've gotten further than me, but I'm definitely
okay. Yeah, no problem. So what happened was this gentleman, it's basically the concept of Breaking Bad is that, you know, somebody that was really riding a straight line wound up breaking away from that. You know what I mean? And kind of going to the dark side. And I became a fan of the attitude of the character, right? Like the attitude of the street character Heisenberg, which is essentially somebody that felt like, you know, following the rules never worked for me. You know what I mean? Caring about what other people might think about what I do never really worked for me. And it never really works for anybody that ever truly becomes anything, right? And so I used his story as a metaphor for where I was creatively in my life at that particular time, where really it really became all gloves off. Like, I used to be a hip hop, a rap snob. You know what I'm saying? Like, there were certain things I wouldn't say or I wouldn't talk about, and I didn't realize that I was stifling my own creativity, right? Because I like, there was a time I wouldn't talk about women. I wouldn't talk about my kids. Like it was a lot of, like, quote unquote kind of corny things I would stay away from. But as I improved on my artistry, I realized that it's not what you do, it's how you do it. And so I kind of took the culture he was building within that show and translated it into my own story, and I became SX Heisenberg, right? So it's the rise of SX Heisenberg. It's a story that's going to continue, but I used that project to sort of introduce this new frame of mind that I have. You know what I'm saying? It's like I'm actually competing now, right? Like it's it's a difference between like lifting weights and then competition weightlifting, right? Like it's different. You know, before I was doing music, but now I've turned it on its head. Now I'm directly challenging the listener's perspective on what they believe can be new and fresh today. You know what I'm saying? And you'd have to really listen to the project to hear the themes that I choose to rap about, to understand where I'm coming from. I really try to challenge the listener, you know what I mean? You know, because I know what I listen to rap all of the time, so I know what people are listening to. I wanted to seriously turn vulnerability into a strength. You know what I mean? You know, and this is like in the Rise of Heisenberg is the rise of that character, like this guy that has the ability to be extremely dope at the most mundane things, right? You know what I mean? So, you know, that's kind of a long-winded answer. Hopefully it answered your question, but that's where that came from.
It answered my question, and it enhanced my understanding of what I've heard so far on the project. You know, as you talk about that, what came to mind is, and you said that the producer's name is Clint Taylor. Clint Taylor, I'm sorry. He produced Normalized Growth, and he also produced this project. Is this kind of like a continuation or connected to Normalized Growth?
SX Heisenberg, no. Okay. So SX Heisenberg is about me.
Okay.
Normalized Growth is about the listener.
Ah, okay.
You see what I'm saying? Like every song has a theme that I'm challenging the listener with. Like you'll never catch me on a Normalized Growth project just sort of floating on a track, like just rhyming for the artistic sake of rhyming. Like every piece has like a purpose, right? So it's a very, so that I guess that's like the conscious MRK, right? Like that's what Normalized Growth represents, are these ideas that are very challenging ideas, right? Like very challenging ideas that I'm attempting my best to give voice to give sound to, as you know, as the title infers. I'm trying to normalize growth. Like as you get older, I'm trying to give soundtrack to these ideas that older people start to have, and you know what I mean? But the shit still bangs, right? Like the lyrics are still there, like it's still what it is. But as you get a little older, you start to care about things you didn't necessarily care too much about before. And if you see Normalized Growth, it's about you, the listener. You know what I mean? I'm sort of serenading you in these ideas that I think that you're struggling with, you know. So yeah. SX Heisenberg is I'm on some rap shit, right? Like I'm trying to outdo every artist I look up to. You know what I mean? Like that's more so what that is, you know.
Definitely. And I appreciate you giving that perspective. The reason why I asked it was the themes and the subject matter are all sort of like relatable subject matter that everyday people tend to deal with, that may go through their minds. And that's where I saw the connection. But I'm glad that you gave us the perspective of each project. Like one is about the listener and one is about you.
Yeah.
Again, enhances the project. So how did Clint Taylor become involved with working with you for these two projects? Where does your relationship, you know, go back?
So that's my brother, number one. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him once more. He's probably in the lab right now. You know what I mean? We're never not cooking. And so what happened was he approached me. He discovered me online and really liked what I was doing and reached out to me. Just followed me and just kind of told me he was, you know, he thought my stuff was dope. And so I appreciate him. Then I caught him on my timeline a couple of times, you know, playing beats. I immediately sent his stuff to a partner of mine named E. Smitty. Shout out to E. Smitty, who's also part of my label, That Feeling. And I was like, yo, check this kid out. Like this dude is, we always say he that feeling. You know what I mean? Like the label is That Feeling. So we always say like this That Feeling material right here, like this that shit. You know what I mean? So he was like, yeah, you know what I mean? And I was like, yeah, he trying to work. You know what I'm saying? But man, this was probably 2018, 19. You know what I mean? And we just kept talking, and then I said, well, you know what, bro? I got a few projects coming up. In the meantime, why don't you work with my guy E. Smitty? And I had this concept in my head of like a soul singer, you know, kind of a throwback to what Mary J. Blige was doing with What's the 411, like a soul singer over just straight hip hop beats. You know what I'm saying? And so I told him in the meantime, not like in the meantime, like I'm trying to minimize what they were doing. I don't want to make that mistake. That's not what I mean. I just mean I had a lot of shit I was working on, you know. So I was like, man, I really think y'all should work together. And they became a group called Itis, right? And they put out a project together, and which I recorded a lot of and mixed and all of that. And so through that process, I got to know Clint Taylor more personally, like as a person. And he sent me a couple of beats that I was sitting on for like a year, right? I finally knocked him out and put him on another project prior to the ones that you mentioned. And he asked me, man, can I do a project with you? I mean, and I told him, like I just mentioned to you earlier, listen, man, that's a natural progression of our relationship. You know, that's not really anything to ask for, right? Like just keep being you, you know, and I'm telling you to send it to me. If that's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen. So through the process, man, you know, we're getting to know each other as men. And what you don't know is prior to the Emcee thing, I was primarily a music producer, right? Like I made at least a beat a day for 15 years straight, you know. And so 2 years ago, I decided that I promise this is all leading back to answer your question. So 2 years ago, I decided that instead of begging I wanted to be what I was asking the industry to be for me, right? Like I wanted them to accept me and see my talent and all of this shit. When I spent all my time as a music producer trying to make placements with bigger artists, right? Worst thing I could have ever did. Like I actually regret it. Like I don't regret much, but I regret the fact that I had great artists around me that I was looking past because I'm trying to get the beat to that artist and that artist, when what I should have been doing is giving those guys my best work. You know what I mean? And I would have had more say in cultivating it, and you know what I mean, and the whole thing. So I decided when I said I'm gonna be a full-time MC, then I'm gonna break producers. So I found 4 producers, and I said I'm gonna break all of them. And the way I'm gonna break all of them is I'm gonna be the artist to them that I wish somebody would have been for me when I was a producer. So and because I know how to produce and I do everything else, I'm going to also mentor them at the same exact time that I'm breaking them. I'm going to mentor them. I'm going to talk them through the process, but I'm going to give them credit for everything, right? As a producer, I'm going to make sure that when I shoot my videos, everything I do, they'll be a part of it. Like the public will always know who they are. No matter how big people think I am and small they think they are. No, they coming with me, right? Like you coming with me. I'm gonna make sure that people know you did this. You know what I mean? Like, cause I know what it felt like. I remember what it felt like to produce people and just kind of get lost in the shuffle of it all. So I said, and I would tell them all, you know, I had Clint Taylor, my guy Timo, my guy DJ 110, and another guy called Alex Turner, and honorable mention 5th is my guy Tone Beats. So like I said, we're gonna do this. When I get with you, I'm gonna give you my all. It's gonna be me and you. And so I did an album with each of them, like each of those guys I did a project with. And what happened, man, honestly, was like cream just kind of started rising to the top, like it does. Like it just is what it is. Meaning that the one that's sending me more beats the most, right? Like who's ever sending me the beats the most, who's ever connecting with me more, it just naturally progressed into that. I've done plenty of music with all the guys I've mentioned, but this past year has been an enormous amount of Clint Taylor, which only honestly reflects the fact that the guy is nonstop hitting me over the head with incredible music, you know? And so that's how we arrived at him being the main producer on those projects and projects to come, right? Like, so you can have a fantastic painting, but if it's not like hanging in the right frame in the right place, man, it's not gonna matter, you know? And so everybody I just named to you is a genius. Like, all these guys are geniuses, man. You know, Clint Taylor's a genius, and it's a privilege for me to be able to work with this guy. Like, I'm looking at him, like, he don't even know. I'm like, dude, like, you know, the same way they talk about Ninth Wonder, like, they're going to talk about you like that, right?
Wow.
And like it's no doubt in my mind, you know that you're of that ilk, like you're one of those guys. It's just socially, it might seem far away, you know, but I know, like I know, because I've worked with some of these guys. Dude, you're good, right? I'm lucky, right? So that's how that came to be. Him producing those projects, he's able to get it off. Like, I allow him to stretch as far as he wants to stretch, and I meet him where he is. Instead of demanding he comes somewhere, I said, man, work out, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just throw the oop. I'm gonna catch it. I'm gonna catch it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how those projects came together. Is him throwing them up and me saying, okay, I see what I could do with this. You know what I'm saying? So, you know,
that's an amazing change of direction, right? For you to be, you know, starting out as a producer, I wasn't aware of, and then kind of, you know, changing the position as an MC and then supporting other producers. That's really dope. And the other thing too is your chemistry with Clint Taylor works. Like, I can see that collaboration is cohesive, like it works. Your vocals over his beats.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Yeah. So one of my favorite tracks on the album is like one of the first tracks. I think it's the first song. It's called Let It Be.
With Speech.
Right, featuring the talented and accomplished Speech from the group Arrested Development, who we've had on the platform last year. Talk to me about how you all two linked and what inspired you to feature him on this particular track.
Speech, man, the segue couldn't be more excellent. I produced some records for Arrested Development some years back.
Nice.
And what happened was he had some extra beats of mine laying around, right? For years, man. He probably had this beat. Man, it had to be 4 years that he had this beat of mine. And he reached out to me maybe a year and a half ago. He found me on an old Facebook page. It was like, hey man, do you still have this beat? And I said, yeah, I ain't even making beats anymore, right? You know, but okay, yeah, you know what I mean? And so through the process of producing that record for him, which was called oh my God, it was a single on his expansion album. Oh my God, Cold. It's called Just Too Cold. That's what it's called. It was a single on his album called Expansion, the Speech's solo album.
Right, the one that came out earlier this year, right?
Right. So the single
too.
Right. So the single Just Too Cold, I produced it, right? And so in the process of that, the trade-off was like I want to get a verse on something, right? And so he's like, okay, cool, no problem. So I send him the joint. It's called Get Me. He loves the joint so much, he wants to put it on his next album, right? The Get Me joint, right? So, okay, cool, no problem. This one is produced by Clint Taylor, though. And so so we do that. Cool, no problem. So it's on my album and it's on his album. Anyways, so I'm working on Let It Be, and me and Clint had that record for a while. I was in love with it. Like from the moment I heard the beat, man, this right here is the answer. I didn't even know I had a question, but this is the damn answer right here, man. And we were just thinking about who might sound good on it. You know what I mean? Like we wanted somebody that was very good, but that beat required a certain level of like sincerity in whatever somebody would say, you know, like somebody that would be willing to tell their story a little bit, you know what I mean? And it just dawned on me one day, like, man, I think Speech might actually nail this. You know what I'm saying? And my guy's Speech, like through the process of everything I was telling you about us working together, we got really cool. He became a really, really cool big homie to me. You know what I mean? I could like call him and ask him for advice. You know, I've been out to his ranch. His wife is a beautiful person. His kids are great. Like this guy lives the rap dream. I don't forget what you heard. Like I told him to his face, man, this ranch with this lake and just riding your mower, bro, and it's peaceful and you got juices and you know what I mean? This like, man, that's the rap dream. I don't care what nobody says. It ain't the big city, bro. It's what Speech got, man. Shout out to Speech. Oh, and I could tour 6 months a year just off GP because people want to see me and my band. Anyhow, so I got to know him, man. And so when I reached out to him with Let It Be, man, I probably got that verse back in an hour, bro. Like I was like he sent it back so fast, man. When he feeling something, it's nothing. It's nothing. And I was blown away. Like I was blown away, man. He told his story, you know, on that record, and he really blessed me with that, man. And so that's how that one came together.
Dope, man. Yeah, that's definitely one of my standout.
Yeah,
like,
thank
you know
you.
how you listen to an album and you have certain records that kind of hit you immediately. The one that definitely stood out to me.
Cool.
Probably is my favorite record on the project, but I continue to listen. Like, of course, I uncovered a lot more dope.
Yeah.
I want to actually talk about some of the lyrics and subject matter on the album.
Okay.
Heisenberg. Also on that song, Let It Be, you have a line where you say, "Let them not worry that I'm over 40." Favorite artist, like you kind of say that in the background.
Yeah.
There's something that's in the water. You say, no, you say, and there's something in that water because Motown was lit. So was Berry Gordy. Tell him I'm born right across the street, which we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
How does having birth roots to the neighborhood that Motown Records was also brought up in impacted your will and drive to do music past the age of 40?
That's a great question. And here's the truth is that I only visited Motown the first time in 2019. I grew up down the street from it. I was born across the street from it, and I saw it for years, but it's something about something, you know, being normal where you're from. You just don't embrace it like that. But what would happen as I traveled the world, you know, I would tell people I was from Detroit, and the legacy that Motown created, the legacy that like Jay Dilla created, the legacy that, you know, Royce the 5'9" and the Eminems of the world, like the work these people put in would speak for me before I arrived, right? And as I got older, I started to appreciate that. You know what I mean? And one of the coolest things, I promise this is going to answer your question. And one of the coolest things, probably the coolest thing I can tell you I've ever got to do, bro, was to look 3 of my top 5 in the face and say, thank you, right? Wow. Not thank you because you dope and you inspired me, but thank you because your reputation preceded me, right? Like I could say I'm an MC, like I say I'm an MC from Detroit anywhere in the world, and there's a bar that people are like, there's an expectancy there, right? Man, I didn't create that bar, bro. Like I didn't put that there. Y'all put that there. You know what I'm saying? Berry Gordy put that there. He did that. Motown, all the years way before I came to even be thought of. My mother was a little child. Like, they put that there. So when I visited a couple of years ago, and I walked through that house and through that studio and realized and learned the story, like the full story of how it came to be, the fact that he actually owned every house on that block. And instead of having a high-rise building, what he had was a block. So this house was for accounting, this house was for rehearsal, this house was for radio, this house was for studio. Like, so instead of going up to the third floor for your business, you had to go across the street. Business. You know what I mean? Like, just the thinking, you know what I'm saying, of Berry Gordy at the time, man. And to see the dirt floors, and to understand, like I was telling you in the beginning, like, to go from idea to then logistics to then like it actually existing, man, that shit is like magic. Like, it's magical. Like, man, I was just thinking about this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I still to this day, I think it's amazing. Like, you could just sit somewhere and have a thought, and the next thing you're doing, you're talking to somebody, and it's your thing, and it's on your hat and shit. Like, I think that shit is amazing to me. You know,
Yeah.
It's like we're all magicians, and so it has impacted me more in the last couple of years than it ever did earlier, like in my life. You know what I'm saying? To the point where I realized that the path that I'm on has never been charted before. Like, you have never, ever seen someone be called a new artist fresh on the scene in their 40s in hip hop. Like, it's not a thing, right? But what's cool is that hip hop is old enough now for that to happen. Like, it was never, the only reason it never happened before is because it wasn't old enough for it to happen. You see what I'm saying? It's still a very young, it's one of the newest genres of music that exists. So I just wasn't ready to let it go. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just wasn't ready to let it go. And so I figured if Berry Gordy, you know, when I looked him up and I looked at his age through the different things he was doing, you know what I mean? I realized that thing didn't really take off till he was a little older. You know what I'm saying? And I said, oh, okay, cool. You know what I mean? So it definitely inspired me in that way, man. So hopefully that answers that question, and you know what I'm saying, everything is connected to it.
It definitely answers it, man. Thank you so much for explaining that.
Cool.
The song Shine Different, you have a lyric where you say, it ain't clouded in the clouds, that's an optical illusion. How does that line relate to your understanding of what it is to shine different?
So the optical illusion is I call it perceived relevance, right? Like the optical illusion is our perception of what's relevant, and we don't even realize how quickly and easily that can be moved around and changed. It's like it's all about what's in front of your face, right? Like, you know what I mean? There's plenty of things there. And that's the optical illusion, right? That's why I say it. And that line for me is to say, like, it's not crowded. Like, it's not really crowded up there. People just think it is. You know what I'm saying? All you got to do is shine different. Like, all you got to do is be a little bit different. And the people that can resonate with that type of shine will catch it. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's what that line essentially meant was like, look, you know what I mean? Anything you do in this life, it's gonna seem like you in a long line, like anything, you know what I mean? But never, but don't forget that your key is that you are naturally different from everybody else, right? You know, and you have to learn to embrace that way before they do. You know, so don't be afraid to shine different. Like, don't be afraid to be the first you. You know, like I said, man, it is almost an insane idea that somebody could accomplish the things I'm trying to accomplish at this age in their life, right? But I know I'm not crazy, and I know what I'm hearing. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm seeing. I know when I get on the stage, I know what it look like on paper. I also know what it look like when I get on stage, and it don't look on stage like it might look on paper. It looked different. You know what I'm saying? It sound different. It feel different. It's new, you know? And so I'm gonna go out swinging with this shit. You know what I'm saying? That's you know, so again, hopefully that answers that question.
Nah, you got it. You got it. It you know, as you talk about what you're doing at 40 plus, you know, and something that probably you thought you couldn't have done, you know, say you started out a lot earlier.
Yeah.
Do you think that the climate that we are in right now, in the streaming era and the information age and so much, you know, having such easy accessibility to music in a variety of ways now has attributed to that, to you being able to make music?
Man, internet saved my career. You know what I'm saying? Point blank period, man. The internet technology, like it all saved my career. You know, this career began in the early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? I've been running my race with this thing for a very long time, and gatekeepers for the last 20 years were a thing. You know, they really were a thing, man. And though they're still there, I'm not saying that they're not a thing anymore, but you can definitely carve out your own little niche in this world.
Yes.
And have your own followers and your own everything, and never appear on their radar ever, right? Like you could be over here minding your own business with your thing that people love to do. And the internet did that. You know, the internet did that. There's somebody listening to this right now, me and you going back and forth. There might be one person that's like, you know what, man, I kind of dig dude vibe. And if all that means is when they see me pop up on their timeline, they gonna press play. Something like that would have cost tens of thousands of dollars to make happen 15 years ago, right? So, whereas now, with the ease of us being able to produce this content, it can happen for almost free. You know, that's so yeah, for a guy like me, it definitely saved my career for sure.
I'm so glad you just said that, because I did want to make a point to talk to the listeners and viewers that might be learning about you for the first time, to just encourage, and not just with you, but most of the artists that I showcase, and just encouraging them to be a little open-minded, right? Because we live in such a saturated environment of music coming out at such a vast rate that it's easy to just like ignore, right? And to a degree, I got caught up in that too, where, you know, I heard one of your records and I was like, oh yeah, this sounds dope.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to really like sit with it, you know? And so I want to encourage our, you know, the listeners of the platform and just anyone, you know, hearing this or, you know, watching this interview, to just take maybe like 5 minutes out of your time, if you're able to, and listen. 5 minutes. And if you like what you hear, add another 5 minutes to that, right? And
it's a tough sell, bro. It's a tough sell, you know what I'm saying? And I'm an artist, right? Like, but I do a lot of research on how I personally engage in things, you know, and so I have to be honest with myself. You know, we all have different thresholds for what and the why we'll pay attention to something, and so on and so forth. Listen, man, and at the end of the day, like, this is hip hop, okay? The point is to stand out, all right? Like, this is hip hop. It always was. Like, don't get it messed up. Like, I love conscious music. I love the conscious community, but let me tell you what conscious music did. Conscious music made light of that fact, that the point of all of this was to stand out. Conscious music came and said, but it needs to have a message. It needs to have a message, and all of those, all the gold and the diamonds, it ain't about that. It's about this other thing, you know. And so a lot of the people that were more so suited to be introverts, the people who didn't necessarily stand out naturally, sort of gravitated towards that sort of thing, which I did. I gravitated towards the sort of the snobbishness of it all. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? The pretentiousness of what hip hop should be and what it is. When at the end of the day, man, hip hop was born because in this extreme dense population of New York, right? It gave these kids an opportunity to say, hey, I'm alive. I am fucking alive. Watch me dance, watch me sing, watch me scratch, watch me paint, watch me rap. I'm alive, man. And I will battle you for the opportunity to have a chance to show the world that I'm alive. I existed. I am here. You know, I'm in my own little space. Like I can now stand up and I can realize the fact that I am not nothing. I am something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's what's so dope about this culture, right? So don't miss your opportunity to remind the world that you here, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you may as well give it your all, man. I just wrote a song today about this shit. Like you might as well, man. You may as well give it your all. Like you come through here. You see what I'm saying? And you know, whether you go listen to my music or not, I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to engage with you and share this moment in your life. You got to consider the kind of person that would listen to this show, right? Like that would listen to me right now. This is a very special person. Right? Because capitalism dictates that they only pay attention to what's popular, right? Capitalism dictates that shit. Like that's how it works, right? You know, when they want to sell a movie, you got to see the movie trailer 50 times a day, whether or not you're looking for it or not. But that ad finds you. Right. It finds you. You ain't looking for it, but that shit finds you. It finds you at the grocery store, on your phone, at the gym, in the Uber, wherever you are. That shit finds you, bro. You see, you know what I mean? So like capitalism dictates that people take all of these cues, is my point, and pay attention to that stuff. Yeah, you know? Yeah. So what we have to do, meaning people like you and I, is we have to over service the people that actually do pay attention. We have to love on them and appreciate them and you know what I mean? To keep the content high. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're very good at what you do. You know what I mean? Your situation is professional. I can tell that I can look and I can see and I can hear the seasoning in what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You know, the way that you project your voice, man, I guarantee your first recordings didn't sound like that. You know what I mean? You know, it did not sound like that, man. You know, you learn how to smile a little bit more. You do this, you do that, you know, and then all of a sudden one day you interview a guy, maybe me, that winds up really blowing the hell up. Like it really happens. Like for real. He really takes off. And what do you know? He remembers you, right? Like he actually remembers you. Right. And he shouts you out or comes back on the show. And guess what? Capitalism dictates now that you're the guy, right?
How the turn of events happens, right?
And I call it rabbit hole decoration, right? Because what you're doing right now is you're prettying up the rabbit hole for later when they start chasing down your, you know, why you so big, right? Like what's so big about you? And then they find that one episode where you were like, man, I'm 81 episodes in, but it took episode 428 for the shit to really happen. Like the real fans want to see you excited at 81. You know, they want to see that shit.
I hope it's not 428 for my sake, right? Yeah. No, I get you.
But like we don't get to like because there's so much going on in the world and we also like caught up in our own wavelengths.
Right.
It's like I can guarantee you just by sharing this with you, like, man, you're not a wave guy, bro. Like you're not trying to catch waves. You're trying to make a wave. You know what I mean? It kind of like when you at the light and you got your blinker on and there's a car in front of you with their blinker on, you know how they lock in? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like that's how this shit is. It's like y'all turn them on at different times, but what happens is, man, is at some point that shit like it work and it's like, whoa, okay, what's happening here? But that only lasts for a few clicks, right? Then it's some other shit. So you hoping that you kind of man, I do my own shit, you know, and if it lines up with the public, cool, because you know instinctively, like I do, that's where the payoff is, bro. So the answer to your question, to anybody that's paying attention, is your investment in something like this has the best payoff. Absolutely, bro. Like your props for saying, man, I remember when MRK was on Out the Box. You got a different kind of swag in the way you brag. You know what I mean? Your shit different. You dig what I'm saying? You know things about me that I don't even talk about later. You see what I'm saying? So that's, you know, and the same thing with you. One day you gonna have a big chunky Out the Box around your neck. You dig what I'm saying? You know, just because it dictates it, you know, and they're gonna, man, remember when you didn't wear no jewelry? Like, people gonna talk about that kind of shit. So I advise people to invest now, because this brother, this is a serious guy, man. Like,
I appreciate the vision, brother.
Yeah, like, come on with it, man. Anybody that you know, a supporter right now, man, is a special person. You dig? Like that's a
yeah, man. You know, shout out to all of our supporters who really go above and beyond. I was just itching to say that because I find it's so difficult to find. It's not that the good music isn't out there. It's just that the filter in how you find it, you kind of got to search a little bit more. And one of the things that I pride myself on doing with this platform is being able to help with that filter a little bit, right? Like, share it. And hopefully my, you know, these interviews or the choices of who I choose to interview, you know, it comes with some level of precedence for some people to say, you know what, if Cril is showing it, let me at least give it a, you know who we are. You know who we are, bro. We are. If you look up in the dictionary, when people say, "What if I didn't give up?" Word.
That's who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, we didn't. Like, here we are. Like, we are that energy. That
right.
When you say, man, I bet you if I would have went as hard as I could, I wonder if I just would have just kept on. I like, that's us, bro. Like, we still here. We still out here. You should champion us, right? Like, you should, because if we do this, it's proof that what you think is real. That if you would have stuck to it, maybe something could have happened. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you could have, you know, I rap this good because I never stopped rapping. You know, I wasn't always this good. I tell people all of the time, and my guys think I'm joking. I'm like, bro, I ain't really start rapping till like the last 3 years. Like I ain't really get good like into the last few years. I was always dope. Like, don't get me wrong, but like, my focus, I think, because of where I am in my life, like my ability to really pay attention to detail, I feel like has made me a much better artist than I've ever been. And so, like, this is the time when I need to be impressing my art on the public, right? Like, now that I know who I am as a man, where I want to go, things I've been through, like, I can now, if I knew then what I know now, like, I know now. So I can line that up. And I don't think that the public is used to hearing things in the way that I present them, right? Like, there's a way that I present my information, and you don't typically get it like that from a rapper. You know what I'm saying? I try to, like, package it in a certain way. You know, you may like hear it one day and then hear it again and not be so sure if I'm trying to say that. Am I trying to say that?
Right.
Wait a minute. And then you hear it the next day, you say, yeah, I think he's trying to say that.
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is that's on purpose, right? Like that's by design that I do it that way. Like, I present all my songs in 2, sometimes 3 different ways, depending on where you at and your vibe. You'll take it the other way, or you'll take it the simple way or the metaphorical way, right? You know what I mean? That's it. But it took 20 years with the pen, like, to be able to figure that out. That wasn't like an innate talent. Like, I didn't just walk around like being able to do that shit. It took 1,000 songs to make it to something, you know?
Yeah.
So that's why people should follow us, man, because we are the guys that you wished well. You say, man, keep going, bro. you know, and you think to yourself, man, I wish I would have never stopped. Nah, we still need you, bro. Come to the show, buy the merch, log in, share. Like we still need you, man. You know what I'm saying? We here.
Definitely, man. So I wanted to also just keep it going with another song of yours on the SX Heisenberg album called All Up, which also features Crooked. You talk about this sort of hope you previously had of artists saving you. And if I'm not mistaken, it sounds like you're talking symbolically, but I wanted you to clarify what you actually meant by them saving you in the context of that track.
That is the most literal song on the album. There's not a word in that song that is hyperbole, metaphor. Every name that I mentioned in that song, everything I said in that song is absolutely true, and it's at my most vulnerable. When I tell you I thought they was gonna save me, I mean it. I mean, when you chasing your dreams, man, you get used to being down to your last. That's one thing you get used to. Down to my last $10, down to my last this, down to my last that, trying to make the payment for this, trying to do the, like, it's always, and I've been blessed to have decent intelligence. I could have done a lot of different things with my life, but I chose to do this, right? So as my peers get older and they go off and do other things, and I see them vacationing and buying homes and their second homes and they're renting homes and their kids are growing up and they don't need scholarships because they can pay for it, you know, and I'm still over here I'm on some rap shit, you know what I mean? Because I'm, and so you get to a space of, the best word is desperation, right? Like you get to a space of desperation. You work so hard to meet King Crook. You know, you work hard to get in the room with the T.I.s of the world and the Kanyes and all that. Like you work so hard to get there, and in your head, the movie is at the part where they save you, right? Where they they write you the contract, you do the hit record, you do this, you do that, and then it happens, whatever it is, right? Like it happens. And there's been all of these moments in my life where I thought it was about to happen, right? You know, like with the producing thing, you know, I've produced for some heavy hitters. I didn't know that, guys. At the time, I didn't know they did 50, 100 songs for an album, right? Like I thought when I did a song with so-and-so, it was on. Song didn't even get used, you know? So it wasn't on, you know, but I spent a week in the studio, no sleep with this guy, you know, thinking that, oh man, it's on. It's about to, you know, blow out of the water. You know, I've had singles, you know, on major artists before and stuff like that. And I just thought that these were all times when I would be saved, meaning saved from my desperation, man, saved from falling off, saved from it being proven that I was a fool for choosing this as a career path. So and saved me from myself, like saved me from my brutal ignorance, right? My willful naivete of you know, get a real job, my, you know, all of those signals that I block out on a daily basis to continue to approach this, while at the same time thinking, the fuck am I doing? Am I crazy? You know, like, so I was like, man, please validate me. Like, please come along and help me show the world that I really can do this. You know, so that's what I meant by that particular record, you know, was that.
How are you able to overcome that mindset over the years?
By a decision that I made in the beginning, right? There were all of these checkpoints, man, where I could have made another choice. All right. And every time I got ready to make the choice, I got ready to do the easy thing. Well, not necessarily the easy thing, but what seemed like the more sound thing. I told myself that that's not what I'm here for. That ain't it, man. Like, and you know that ain't it. You know, that's what I would tell myself. Like, you had a vision, and the conversation I had with myself 20 years ago was this: Mark, this is gonna be the hardest thing you ever do. You know, this is going to probably seem impossible.
Mm.
I used to pray that I had this prayer, and it would say, like, you know, God, I know there's gonna be some people in the world that are gonna give it their all, and it still ain't gonna work.
Mm.
Please don't let me be one of those people.
Mm.
You know what I mean? You know, you know, I was so afraid of being one of those people. There's a character in the movie Crooklyn. You ever seen Crooklyn?
Yes.
The father in Crooklyn, I was like, oh my God, like, I do not want to be the father in Crooklyn. I don't want to be the old guy saying, man, if they just hear my next song, you know what I mean? And the world is sort of collapsing around him. I was always clear that that could be the outcome, right? But what I decided was, when I put it up on the scale, I was like, well, but what do I want people to say about me when it's over? Because it's going to be over at some point. What would I prefer if I could choose? What would I prefer my legacy to be?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? I would prefer it to be he never gave up. Like I would take that over the other thing any day. Like this shit, either I die or this shit works. Right? Like point blank. So, and when you develop a mind state like that, you force yourself into certain positions, right? Like, when it's time to improve, you need to improve, right? Because if you don't improve, this opportunity is blown and you've wasted your time, you know. And I've realized that every time I thought the bottom was gonna fall out, there was another floor in the basement. Like it never fell out. Like I always rose to the occasion. I didn't know I would rise to the occasion. I didn't know. I had no idea. But I rose to the occasion every single time, and I was able to draw from my experience. Man, I used to I went to school for engineering for audio production. And man, I like some of the people that would step in the booth, I would kind of fan out, you know what I mean, a little bit, and I would have to talk to myself. Hey man, take a deep breath. Look around. You know exactly what you're doing, bro. You've been at the boards with somebody in the booth thousands of times in your life, bro. You are here to facilitate ideas. This is what you're gonna do, okay? You know, and then, like, I know instinctively, show this person you're competent so you both can relax. Like, the sooner you show this person you're competent, the better things will get. So break through that little shit that's going on inside of you right now. Drink a glass of water, take a deep breath. Whatever it is, bro, that's just a person. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know where that instinct comes from, bro. Like, I don't know why I'm able to have that type of forethought. Like, I don't know. You know, maybe that's actually my gift. I don't know, but I've always been able to sort of create bridges before I get there. So when I get there, I'm not shocked. You know, like I've had panic attacks before. And in the middle of my panic attack, I would tell myself, nigga, you knew you was gonna be here. You knew you was gonna be here. Breathe, go through this shit and get your ass up and go back and do what was you were supposed to do, okay? The truth is, in this moment, you're fine. In this moment, you are freaking out about a moment that does not exist. In this moment, you are fine. And the truth is, all you have is this moment. You don't have that moment. And the old moments are gone. You got this moment. Are you fine in this moment? Yes, I'm fine in this moment. Well, do what you got to do, man. These are the conversations I have with myself. So I guess it would be like self-dialogue, self-narrative. Like it's like you're always living your self-narrative. Like that's what you're doing, you know? Ain't no amount of jewelry or glasses or nothing can cover that up. If you're a corny dude, it's gonna come out, you know? You got a corny self-narrative. All people got to do is hear you talk once or twice, and they're like, I don't even like Buddy, So so I would say, if anybody's looking for inspiration in that, and that is just, man, just adjust your self-narrative, man. Shit gonna get scary, bro. Like, everything you scared of losing, you probably gonna lose twice. Like, it just is what it is, man. But what you wrong about is how you're gonna react when you lose it. Yeah. That's what you're wrong about. you think you're gonna fold up and die or something. No, you're not. No, you're not, bro. Like, you're gonna be the same person with the same bravery that took yourself to that point. And you're gonna stick your chest out and you're gonna make your way through it. You're gonna realize that the worst thing happening to you is not your phone getting cut off. It's just a fucking phone. Like, it's not food. You know what I'm saying? You know, you'll be okay without a phone. I know it don't seem like you'll be okay without a phone, but actually you find a few weeks after not having a phone that you still lived and you still figured it out. You know, you want to know what life was like before you had a phone? Get your phone turned off. You'll figure it out real fast.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Yeah, man. Wow, man.
Yeah.
Dropping jewels, man. Mark Sox dropping jewels or out the box, man. You know what's also really dope about the album that, and I think you talked about this a little earlier, like there's so many like, you know, quotables on this project. Like if you just listen, like you catch little lines. So as we're speaking about this particular track, All Up to You, there's a quotable that really stood out to me. And you say they used to call you crazy for wearing a mask back then.
Yeah.
Not these days, he be looking like Michael Jackson. I was like, that was a clever line.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. So like you really, your pen game is like tight, man. Like
you, man.
If people really take the time to listen, they grasp it.
Cool.
Also on that song, All Up to You, you have a line in the first verse where you say, your opinions in the ring with no one for tagging. Do you believe in what you believe without someone to back it? Now, that line made me think about the struggle and effort to be courageous and stick to your belief, regardless of what potential, you know, or other influences may exist. In your experience, where have you gotten the motivation to stick to what you believe and what deeply resonates with you, regardless if you have the support or not?
I have a morbid fear of mediocrity, man. Like, I am running 1,000,000 miles a minute away from average. Like, I cannot, I cannot do it. You know, like I have to figure out how to rid myself of mediocrity, man. I have to. The point of it all is for me to grow as much as I possibly can, and to learn as much as I possibly can. Is to always have the bar set a little bit higher than it should be, right? Like I'm always right below where I'm trying to get to. You know, I believe in shoot for the stars, you might land on the cloud. Like, you know, like that is my mantra, man. And so that's where that comes from. I got something I'm trying to prove to myself, man. You know, when I knew that I was somebody when I was a really small kid, but what was being communicated to me was that I was average, that I was not special, you know, that I was, you know, my grades were just okay. I was tall, but I wasn't super tall. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was like, yo, you're average. But I just got the feeling I didn't want to live like that, man. Like maybe it was, you know, I lost family members very early in my life, and they were young too, you know, and I just I didn't want to get trapped, man. Like I wanted to prove to myself that I could be somebody, you know, and that's really, I think at the end of the day what this is, man. It probably got some shit to do with my dad too, you know what I'm saying? You know, trying to prove to him that I'm worthy. You know, we all got these like little things happening in the background of our programming, you know, that keeps us going. If you search through the mind of anybody that's ever accomplished anything great, you know, perfect example, like bodybuilders, again, guys that win all these championships and stuff like that. When you sit down and you ask them, why'd you start this? And they said, well, my stepdad beat on my mom when I was little, and I always wanted to be able to beat him. So it's like, you know, they 35 still trying to, you know, dude might be dead or whatever, but they still feel like they want to beat that monster in the closet they used to beat their mom. So some of that is still going on with me, man. You know, I went to 11 different public schools. I was always the new kid, always the loner, you know, and so I never got a chance to prove to anybody that I was anything, because I was always like moving along, you know, and I think that's what a lot of this is too, man. It's just me trying to convince myself, man, that I belonged. You know, before it was over, man, I belonged. I had a place. People really thought I had something to say. All of these ideas I have, they meant something to somebody, at some particular point in time. So, yeah.
Got it. On the song Crazy Me, Crazier You, you have a lyric where you say, if everybody love you, you whack or you rich. And if you rich, they love you because they can't afford to pick. I had to ponder those lines. Like, it was so profound.
Thank you, bro.
What do you mean by those last set of lines? If you're rich, they love you because they can't afford you. Can you go in depth of what that line is actually meant to convey?
Well, so again, we live in America, man. Holy capitalism is the religion here. You know what I'm saying? It's what inspires everything, and there could be things that are abhorrent, morally wrong. You know what I mean? I'll leave it. Let's just deal with our culture, hip hop, for instance. I remember when Soulja Boy took off, because anybody that knows me is laughing right now because I tell this story all of the time. Things pivoted with Soulja Boy because Soulja Boy introduced the conversation we never had in rap before, which was leave them kids alone, man. He getting money. We never talked like that in hip hop before. And the people who were supposed to be upholding the culture tried to say something. Like, they actually did try. All they were trying to say was, hey, this is great and we having fun, but don't get it twisted. Money is actually kind of whack with the lyrics. Hey, I'm having fun dancing to the song too, but let's not, be careful now, because before you know it, there's gonna be, and there was a rush of, like, it just opened the floodgates. It was like when the bar got low, where it just became like, as long as it vibes, it was cool. You know what I mean? And it was getting money, right? Capitalism dictates that it's good if it's getting money, right? So you can hate a guy, but he getting money. Like as long as he get interest and he get money, then people love it, right? Like it's like, I don't even like this song, but I hear it so much. I know the song, and the song creates an energy in the club that I like. So I like the song. Yeah, I like the song. Yeah, I like the song. I like the guy singing the song. I don't think I like the guy singing the song. Yes, I do. I like the guy singing the song. I don't know what I like. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, it's like, I can't even afford, because I'm so busy trying to be socially accepted. I can't afford to decide whether I like the guy or not. I can't decide whether I like the song or not. I do like it. I can't afford to say I don't. I can't. You see what I'm saying? So because what I want to do at the end of the day is I want to be accepted. So I have to bend around who I am, and make myself more malleable, because at the end of the day, what matters is what's relevant. You dig? I'm not allowed to stick up for my culture, because or even myself a lot of times, because look, man, they getting money. Like, what do you like? Oh, okay. So that was, you know what I mean, the thinking, behind that, it's a metaphor for a bigger idea.
Definitely. And when I heard it, and as I listened back to it, I was like, man, this is deep. This is layered, man. Like, and I really think it's dope that you are able to put together words in such a clever way, but they still have some type of weight.
Thank you, man.
And that's a clear example of that on this project. Also, earlier in that song, Crazy Me, Crazier You, you have a lyric where you say, what you say, what you really want to know, and that's, if we're speaking honestly, are these 5 words: why him and not me? which is a question a lot of people ask when they don't see the success they desired from the work they already put in. Do you feel that there is a universal answer to that question? Why him, not me? People ask it for.
I'll tell you where it comes from. It comes from our natural inclination towards victimhood, right? I want somebody to be the blame for my problems. Like I need there to be someone that I need to say, man, the reason why I ain't on is because people like that garbage, right? When the truth is, the stuff you do is just okay. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know because you're trapped inside of your thing. But 5 years from now, when you look back at what you was doing, it'll make perfect sense to you why nobody rocked with you at that time, right? Like, you'll have all of this great clarity about who you were, but at that time, you were asking that question, man, why they getting on, you know? But when you in a different mind state and you look back, it's absolutely clear. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So because we all have like a desire towards victimhood, this is what happens. And you have to be everybody, this happens to everybody, you know, so you have to be very proactive about how you attack. You know what I mean? You got to self-vaccinate. You know what I'm saying? You got to attack that idea when it comes into your head. Hey, man, whoa, I'm not a fucking victim. Like, yo, relax. I don't know homie's story. I know what they told me about homie's story, right? And there's power in narrative. You know, there's certain parts about that dude's story that would take the power away from it. They cannot afford to tell me that part of the story, right? I need to know the part of the story that empowers him. But I'm grown now, so I know that stories have many sides to them. I know that it's never that simple. You know, I know that when a 20-year-old gets a huge opportunity, there's a lot to that. He's only 20 years old, for God's sakes. I mean, how long has he really been doing this? You know, it's like when you sit back and you watch a 20-year-old say, man, we've been grinding for years. Well, how many years is this exactly? I'm just curious because you're 20. Right? So what are we really saying here? Right? You know, and most people don't even, and when you're that age, you don't even know why you resonate with you have no idea. You were one of the kids that when other kids was flipping, like, I don't know if you ever flipped when you was a kid, but let me tell you something about the first time a kid flips, when he finds out he can flip. He didn't know he could flip, okay? He just did the shit, right? And it worked. And it's like, yeah. He didn't know he had calf strength like that. And then when we went to hoop and he went to touch the rim, he grabbed it with both hands. He didn't know that shit. Like, he just did it. You see what I'm saying? And so other kids are saying, why him and not me? And he's trying to explain it when you're full of shit for asking, and he's full of shit for trying to explain it. He don't know. What does he know? So you got to get out of your own way, man. Like, people get on for all kinds of reasons, man. Not to mention, you don't know what hell people are putting up with to be in that position. You have no idea. You think you want to be in that person's position. That's what you think. Man, please. Life got some tricks for you, bro. Like you think it's better over there. You'll be running back to this side before you know it. Like you understand what I'm saying? So
yeah. And you talk about the perspectives, right? Like, that's a great analogy about you know, the kid that, you know, dunks by just happenstance, you know, and the person, and he himself is like, I didn't even know I could do it. So it's like perspectives, and I think a lot of times we don't look at the other person's experience. We don't know the other person's journey. So we asked that question, but I thought it was cool that you referenced that in the track, man, in the way that you phrased the question, you know. So yeah, thanks for answering that. On the hook of the song Just Business, you say and it's exactly what you think it is, inspiration to live. And I know you say it more times. How does this idea of just business or being able, being about your business serve as a sort of inspiration to live or, attributes to self-love as you kind of allude to in the track?
All new concepts, man. You know what I mean? People been telling me for years, and I'm intelligent to understand this is the music business. People say that to me all of the time. Music business. Don't forget the business part, but I'm an artist first. So my heart is so big, like my heart is so big, and I have what it is and I have what I want it to be. And these things are always at constant odds. No matter how smart I am, no matter how I try to defeat it, it always comes back to how I wish it was, how I want it to be, and what it is business. Like that's what this shit is, man. Like it's business. You're in the business, either you're approaching it in a business-like manner or not. Because if you're not, it's going to abuse you in all types of ways. You know, and because this is capitalism. That's what capitalism is set up to do. Capitalism tries to turn everybody into a customer. Like that's exactly what, if you let it, that's what you'll be. You'll just be somebody just spending money all day on shit. Like that's it. Like you have to understand, man, and properly compartmentalize like what it is. For me, my music is inspiration to live. Right? Like that's what it is. It's inspiration to live. And living through my music is my business. Like that's what it is. It's just business. But it's my inspiration to live. The music. I'm saying, yeah.
I get it. I like that explanation. It makes so much more sense. Like I know it was connected, but I wanted you to explain that.
Yeah.
So and you did do that pretty well. On the song Reach Around featuring Guilty Simpson. Yeah, shout out to Guilty, man. Such a dope artist from Detroit, man. I got a chance to interview him some years back.
Cool.
Your first lyric starts with the line, "The best Nas album is not Illmatic. Take a breath, get out your feelings. He's an ill artist." What message were you trying to convey in starting the song off with those lines?
It was a carryover from a conversation I was having with a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? Because this is such a, we have these like sacrilegious things in hip hop, right? That you're just supposed to agree with, like, and it's sacrilegious if you don't, right? And one of them is that Nas is Illmatic is in the pantheon of albums. You know what I'm saying? And that's like as sure as gravity, like that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? And I appreciate that, right? I do. But I really enjoyed It Was Written better than I did. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't misunderstand why people like the album, right? But it was short and the beats were not all that dynamic, in my opinion. But on It Was Written, man, I got a whole movie, B. Like I got like I thoroughly enjoyed this album, right? So that right there may be one of the best debuts ever, right? But as an album, we talking as an album and what people enjoy about albums, I just felt like it's not his strongest body of work. Like that was it. You know what I'm saying? But I think nostalgia a lot of times, you know what I'm saying? Like nostalgia is a mother, man. Like it connects itself to things and it just is what it is. I can't tell you how many times, it's like, for instance, like some of those No Limit albums, like I was a huge No Limit fan and I can't even listen to some of those. Like they're unlistenable. You know what I'm saying? I was caught up in the nostalgia, like of the moment, but when I go back now and I try to listen, I'm like, bro, I don't know what I was, what I was thinking. Not to say it was all bad. I'm not, you know what I mean? Please, anybody listening, fight the urge to think I'm dissing Master P or any of those things. I'm just saying that it was a wave, man. They was coming every week and it was a wave. I was buying a new CD that was this color and that color. And I thought they was all great. So I went back and I listened to some of them and was realizing, oh shit, it's just okay.
You're definitely not the first person, and you're not the second person. I've heard this a number of times where people have been, you know, when you put Illmatic and It Was Written next to each other, there's a number of people that feel like It Was Written was more of their favorite project from Nas. So it's not a argument that's a stretch. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, I was just curious why you started.
My guy, to my guy that I was having a conversation with prior to to writing it, to him it was just ridiculous. You know what I mean? That I would put any Nas, any hip hop album, better yet another Nas album over Illmatic. You know what I'm saying?
That's very understandable too, man. That album is lauded as a classic. Me personally, I wasn't like when Illmatic came out, I wasn't familiar with it. You know, I was a hip hop fan, but I wasn't tapped in like obviously like how I am now, you know.
Right.
Years ago, even when I was in, you know, my latter years in high school. So I think I missed the wave of the introduction.
Right. I didn't catch Live at the Barbecue. I wasn't
Right.
I got that years later. Like
Yeah. I think a lot of people who, and I'm not saying this for everyone, but there's a number of people who caught it when it came out. It was also a, you know, I think it was a heavy bootleg album too. Like it was circulating before, and a lot of people that caught wind of it in its initial, you know, release, they're the ones who kind of like, you know, talk highly about it. But it's definitely, in my opinion, it's a really dope project. But I could understand. Just like It Was Written was my first full introduction to Nas from an album's perspective. So I understand what you're talking about the cinematic experience you got with It Was Written as well.
Yeah, that's it. And you can't like saying like I mean really, what are we talking about here, right? We talk about Nas, right? Like, right. So to say I like one album better than the other one is not to say I didn't enjoy the other one, right? Like it's I like this one better, right? Like I'm not throwing it out the window like this is trash. No, it's amazing. I just enjoy this one better. That's all.
I get it. So on the song "What's Your Budget" featuring Swifty McVeigh, you say in the second verse of the song, "Them problems holding you down, somebody learn to fly with." And as I reflected on that line, it made me think about how easy it is for us to give up on ourselves sometimes. What do you think is the key to turning a negative situation into a positive or progressive situation at the moment when that challenge initially presents itself?
I think practice, man. I think that's a skill. That's a muscle. You know what I mean? That you just have to you have to consciously build. Because you're gonna you know, everybody's their own engineer. You know, at the heart of being an engineer, you're a problem solver. Like that's what an engineer is. And you have to learn to engineer your life. And you know, you're gonna have more problems than anything. And so you have to practice you have to practice staying away from finger pointing and staying away from the woe is me, you know, staying away from the victim shit. Like you have to practice digging in. And you have to use your imagination. You know, don't be afraid of your imagination. You know, when things happen, you know, don't be afraid of who you'll be when things get tough. It's still you, man. That's why people can move to the other side of the world. They can get millions of dollars and still not be happy, because you know who's in that room? You. Like, it's still you, man. You know, and you're the problem. Like the issue is you. So I think a lot of proactive self work, man. It's hard though, bro. Like it's hard. I've wanted to cut and run many times. You know, many times, bro. Like anytime there's something new I gotta learn that I don't want to learn, but I can't progress this thing I'm doing unless I learn it. And there's a whole thing I go through. I don't want to do this shit. Like I need to find somebody else to do it. You know what I mean? And you can't. You know, like you right there with that mic set up like that, man. Like you did that. You know what I mean? And whatever it took to learn how to do that, you bit the dust until you figured it out. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's just you know, not being afraid of your ability for your CPU to kick in, you know, to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? You know, shy away from the idea that things will be figured out for you. For the fact that because a door is hard to open, it must mean it can't be opened. Right? You know, maybe you aren't turning hard enough, fam. Maybe you not like there's a like other people do it. Like you can do it too.
Right.
You know, like that's how I got through college. I got through college by thinking, man, thousands of people have sat in this seat learning this shit and they all graduated. What's different from your brain than their brain? Relax. Right. Take a deep breath, dude. Like focus. Like you'll be okay, you know?
Right.
But the first inclination is to, you know, I need, it's like a threat or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would, that the answer to that, I truly think is just practice, man. I think it's a lifestyle. There's always something, man. I swear to God, like, bro, like if it ain't one thing, it's another. You know what I mean? You can have it planned down to a T and bump right into somebody's ulterior motive that throws everything completely off. That whole plan is trash now. Now you got to, figure it out another way. And a lot of people, man, can't even get past step one. Right? I'm sure there's a lot of other people that say they want to do what you do, you know, but man, they can't even make it past step one, bro. Like they can't. They ask you how much that mic costs. Like, man, go to Google and find out how much you know what I mean? It's just a mic, bro. They make hundreds of thousands of them, bro. Like this one ain't that special. It's like, it's you know what I mean? You know, it's like, yo, you gotta relax, fam. Like it's okay. Like this stuff is not complicated as you think. Don't be afraid to walk in the store and look around like you don't know what you're doing until somebody says, "Can I help you?" Like, you know, he said, "Man, okay, so you know, this might sound stupid. I do it today. This might sound stupid, but let me tell you where I want to go. You know, I don't have the words, but this is the situation, you know, and you'll be surprised, man, when people see you changing your own tire, bro, like they'll help you. You know, they'll help you, you know, because one thing that people who have done something one thing they have a heart for is other people trying to do something. Right. They have a huge heart for it because they know what this shit is, bro. You know, like they know what it is. If you somebody was trying to start a podcast and you see them struggling with that shit, you say, bro, what you doing, man? You know what I mean? Right. That ain't the one you want. You want this one right here. You know what I'm saying? Indeed. That shit's sitting in the corner in my room. I don't use that. You know, use this. So that's what I would say to that, bro.
Definitely. Listen, man, I know we have spent some time already, and I haven't even gotten to
let me short my answers, man. My bad, bro.
Nah, it's all good. I haven't even. I'm about to get to Normalized Growth, so if you got a little extra time, I do want to touch on that project because I think that's a really dope project as well. So that project, Normalized Growth, was dropped in March of this year. And as I learned in this interview, that it was done by the same producer, Clint Taylor, which is really dope, man. And I could hear the the production strengths in that project as well, man. Like he really shines, man. So I wanted to talk about some of the tracks on that album as well. The second song is entitled Cut It. And it's a deep record about a guy moving on from a past relationship that didn't work out. What inspired you to write this song and you know the underlying message you wanted listeners to get from it?
So a friend of mine was so I've been in that position before, you know, and what the purpose of that song is as a man, sometimes all you need is permission from another man to do what it is you know you need to do, right? It's like I had a friend of mine one time you know, I was about to jump out the window and have a girl fall through that I had no business letting fall through. And I'm telling all these other friends, and they like, that's what's up, bro. Like, you, like, it's gonna be good. You're gonna hit it. And I had this one homeboy that was like, man, don't do that shit, bro. You know what I mean? And I was like, you're right. And I didn't do it. You know what I mean? And I learned in that moment, this was some years back, that sometimes, bro, you just need a somebody to agree with what you know is right. You know, and I was in a position where I was hanging on to a woman, and the truth is, the only reason I didn't want to let it go was because I ain't want nobody else around my kids, man. You know what I mean? And I come to find out that most men in that position struggle with that. It's like, I don't want to be here. We are terrible together, but I'm hanging on all because I don't want some other nigga around my kids, you know. Well, let me tell you as a man to you, you know, another man that may be in that predicament, let it go, man. You know what I'm saying? Like you, yes, you should let it go, bro. Like you know what I mean? Let me give you that narrative. And let it go. Not just let her go, but let it go. It is what it is. It's gonna be another dude around your kids. You might as well start understanding it now and and inhaling it and imagining the moments and all of that. And you know what? Here's the thing. Your girl chose you, right? She's gonna choose another good guy. I know the TV say different. I know the internet say different. 9 times out of 10, the next dude she chooses to be around your kids, right? Because they're your kids too. He's gonna be somebody that she vets. She don't want another you, okay? She's gonna, like, the guy's probably gonna be cool, man. And most of the situations I know personally, not the ones online or on TV. Personally, the other guy's cool, man. Like, it's not really that big of a deal, man. He probably got kids with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like you might even mess around and like the dude. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's it's a wild game. So that was, again, a issue I never hear talked about ever, right? But I wanted to address it because a friend of mine was battling with whether or not he should leave his lady. You know what I'm saying? And so that's where that came from.
Yeah, I thought it was dope that you gave the reality of the situation, but you also gave an optimistic, you know, viewpoint on it. Like, you know, and I think it's inspiring for the listener that might be going through that or whatever. So I think you do that really well. And I know that this project is really a conversation, you know, dedicated to the listener, right? I think the themes on this project really hit that, you know, hit the relatability. Yeah, no problem. So on the song Everybody's Scared, you say you've learned what you cannot see has more power, and for that reason you'll always like the seed over the flower. Tell us the significance of why the seed is more important to you.
Because the seed represents potential, man. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody seen it yet. The sun ain't got the shine on it yet. You know what I mean? It holds, it is the future, right? The seeds are the future. You cannot see them, dude. You know, but they are there, right? Like, they are there, and how they are being taken care of and handled will be the future. You know, whether it's the seed of an idea, whether it's an actual seed, like whatever it is, right? Like I've learned that, like, somebody gotta be next. Why not me? Why can't I be the seed? Like, why not me, man? Why I can't be the first? Like, there's gonna be another artist out of Detroit one day that people are gonna think is great. You know, why not me? Like, that one day somebody in their 40s is gonna blow in rap music. Like, why not me? You know, like, why not? Why can't I be that seed? You know? And so that's more in depth, but that's where I was coming from with that line. You know what I'm saying? Is become more in love with your dreams, man. Become more in love with what you can manifest. Like that's the seed that people can't see. You know, I manifested this moment right here. Like,
Mm.
bro, like that. Like, listen, man, I spent an enormous time in my life being a producer. I worked really hard, you understand me, to build up a career where I did not have to talk about that.
Mm.
You see what I'm saying? And here I am in a moment that I manifested years ago. Here I am, like, right? Like I planted a seed. You know, I changed my name. I did like all types of things, you see? And I literally grew another flower, right? Like I grew a whole another flower based on what I learned from the other garden. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is that's exactly what I'm talking about. You can do it, bro. Like you can believe in shit.
Right. Dope, dope, dope. What do you think is the universal reason why fear exists in different ways for so many of us?
Well, I mean, we all want to protect ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And so fear is a great tool in order to do that. It's a great motivator to get the hell out of the way if you think something's coming. You dig? So that is literally the that's why that's funny you asked that. Like that's the whole point of everybody scared. You know, what we all have are varying degrees of acting like we're not. Right, like that's what makes us different is our resources in order to act like, you know, I'm less scared than you. You know, the most violent guys are the most fearful guys. That's why they're so violent, because they walk around all of the time feeling like they're cornered.
Interesting.
You see what I'm saying? That's why they're so reactive, because the very essence of who they are, they feel cornered, like anything can happen to them at any time. And so they have to be ready to lash out at any moment. They carry guns with them all of the time. They got PTSD. Like these are the most scariest people you could ever be around. Like you're 10 times more confident than these people, you know, but it appears that they are the more braver being. You see what I'm saying? You know, but everybody is scared, bro. Like everybody is scared, in my opinion. You know, to varying degrees.
What inspired you to write this song "Nothing After Naked," which is sort of like a message to women who may feel like they have to expose their bodies for whatever motive? Maybe it's for recognition, or for for people to see them, or for monetary recognition. Like what was your reasoning for doing that song, and why was it important for women that song was dedicated to understand the message of nothing after naked?
Because it was inspired by a female artist that I worked with a couple of years back, who was and is very talented, like extremely talented, pretty young lady, who I watched go from who I watched try to balance sexuality with like her skill, and she like really played with it, because it's like a lot of young ladies, you can get more attention a lot faster if you are more sexual. And I would see her kind of toe the line and push closer and closer and closer to being naked, right? Like I'm watching her play with it, you know, play with the whole idea of, well, if I mix more of this in, and every time I would see her do it, I would go, "Ooh, now be careful now." You know what I mean? You know, it's 300 likes this time. That really ain't a lot, you know. And then she's like half naked, and the likes ain't a lot. And then so she gets a little more naked, and then likes a little bit more. And I was thinking to myself in my head, like, you realize once we see it all, that's it, right? You do understand that once you go, once you let it all out the bag, there is no, like, for white women it can be different, but for sisters, a lot of like they're not typically much more you can do after you get naked. And so that's where that song came from, was watching this young lady, you know, watching her go kind of like down the sliding scale of trying to get attention, you know, and just saying matter of factly, like, hey, look, you know, once it all comes off, mama, like, once you go to the OnlyFans, baby, like it's over. Like, you know what I'm saying? You know, take a couple of steps back, because this really ain't what you want. Like, this ain't really what you want. You know, once we done seen it all, you know, because you know what happens when you see them. What happens is we all remember that we've seen a vagina before. You know what I mean? It's not like a special vagina. It's just her vagina. You know what I mean? They're not special breasts. They're just her breasts. But when they're covered up, it seems like they're special, right? But when they get uncovered, you say, all right, like it. You see what I'm saying? It's like the secret is out, and the secret is not special. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, so that's where that came from.
Wow, man. Like, there's so many like, when you think about this project, Normalized Growth, like, most of the songs are like under 2 to 3 minutes, right? And right, but the album comes across like a traditional full-length project with subject matter and the themes. Like, the themes just like hit you, and they're like so easy to grasp that I realized that, like, I missed the fact that I had to like literally look at the track list to be like, oh, like, almost every song on this album is under 3 minutes, or some of them are like under 2 minutes. Like, a lot of them are under 2 minutes. Like, how were you able to achieve this this type of presentation with the tracks being so short? Like, it really reads like a full body album. And I think it's because of the subject matter and the way that you deliver the content in a way that is relatable and easy to digest. Even though you got your double entendres and your clever stuff, it's still easy to grasp the different themes. Like,
and I appreciate that. You know, again, that album is about the listener. So I didn't want to get in the way of the information by making sure that this was just 16 bars. Like, if there was more to expound on that subject, that's exactly what I did. I expounded on that subject. Once I proved the point I was trying to make, the song was over. Like, I didn't have anything else to say about that. You see what I'm saying? If there was a hook there, it was organic and it really fit the space of what that was. You know what I'm saying? I really tried to get out of my own way with writing that particular body of work. You know, that's the best way I can explain it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Breaking that down. On your song Muffin Top Blues, you talk about being mindful of diet and choosing to eat healthy so that you could, you know, sustain a happier and healthier lifestyle. What do you think makes it so difficult for us to make a shift in choosing to eat healthier and also, you know, maintaining that lifestyle?
Man, bro, that's a can of worms, man. Let me try to make it very short and concise, bro. The blame game again, man. Like it's like I'm not even gonna go down that road. What I'll say is that America's full of very fat people. Like, America's extremely overweight. Like, if you do any traveling, you'll know what I'm talking about. Like, we're just very fat people. So what happens is because there are people that are so morbidly obese, right, that we can look at and we can say, oh man, that's fat. Well, I ain't like that. So, but that's not true. You're way too big as well. But in your head, you think it ain't so bad. You know what I'm saying? And so, and bro, like, listen, man, working out is hard, right? Like you don't look like a brother that struggled with that. You know what I'm saying? But like, exercise is hard. I do it 5 days a week. I've been as heavy as 300 pounds.
Wow. Okay.
And in my head, when I look in the mirror, I still see the 300-pound dude. It will take 2 to 3 years from now for me to look at a picture of me today to fully realize what I look like today. That's how bad it is. Like when it's like a form of PTSD. like when you get to be that big. You're always definitely afraid of getting back there, you know. And if you see little hints of getting back there, it depresses you. And when you depressed, you start eating, right? And then you tell yourself you're going to start back at the gym on Monday, and then Monday becomes next Monday and next Monday and next Monday. And the whole time you eating shit you ain't supposed to, and you buying bigger clothes, and you blaming it on the fact that, you know, your kids or your wife or you know what I mean? Like, it really gets away from you, man. And my heart goes out to people that struggle in that department, right? But I'm at the gym all the time, and I still got a little pouch. You know what I'm saying? You know, I can't get rid of this son of a bitch. You know what I mean? And I'm in there. You feel me? I'm in there. I'm trying to eat decent. But the older you get, the harder it is to keep it together. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted to do a tongue-in-cheek record, man, just to kind of, like, you know, kind of talk about it and tell people, man, when you get into your late 30s and into your 40s, bruh, you got to leave that shit. You like, you know, you ain't supposed to be eating. You got to leave it alone, man. Like there was a time. That time is past. You know what I'm saying? You gotta chill, dude, because all of these different diseases and all this shit preventable, man. It really is. I promise you. Like, your liver will give you another 50 years if you just go easy on that bad boy. You know what I'm saying? It's bad enough that in our 20s we don't sleep. You know what I mean? And we take way too much caffeine, and we just way overdo it. You know, it's bad enough we do that to ourselves, and then we trying to, like, keep up, you know, as we get older. Nah, man, you sleepy, man. Carry your ass to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, it's bedtime, baby. Like, go to sleep, you know, so that you can maintain that body, you know, and so again, man, it's tongue in cheek. I mean, bro, the whole idea of normalized growth, bro. I don't know if you were gonna ask that question, but just so I can sum it up very concisely before we get done talking about it, is that young people need cool old niggas to look up to, bro. Like, you know what I mean? It's like they just do, so that they can aspire to get older, right? Because they don't, right? Because the older dudes are aspiring to be younger,
right?
You know, and so there's like confusion about that, bro. The young part is the shortest part of your life. It's a minuscule piece in a whole puzzle. You can't spend all your life. You can't spend the whole puzzle focused on one puzzle piece, baby. Like, it's good shit that come with getting older. Like, getting older is some cool shit. You know, you get wisdom, and I ain't doing that shit no more. Like, you get to pass it on. You get to watch your kids grow up. Like, it's really, really, really cool, man. Like, to have friends, you can say, man, we've been friends 20 years. Like, it is so awesome to have a woman that you've been with a decade, and all of these things like this. And these kids need to have some older people that they look up to say, so that they're not so afraid of getting older, is what I'm trying to say. So they're not so scared because they got people that's there already. It's like, oh man, he cool as shit. Not just Jay-Z and Puffy, man. Like not just cats that got $1 billion, right? Like, not just them. Like, it is okay, bro. Like, every, you know, to look at me and know my age and say, oh man, dude is still keeping it together, man. Like, okay, maybe it's like, it's okay, bro. Like, get older. It's cool. Like, don't step out on your lady, bro. Like, you know, don't do it. Like, it's cool. You did that already. Like, that came and went. You know, grow older, my man. So I just wanted to put that out there just in case, you know what I'm saying? I didn't get to do it before we got off of here, man. That's what the whole idea behind normalized growth is getting older is some cool shit, bro. Join us. You know what I'm saying?
So speaking about normalized growth, I had this question in regards to that. How do you normalize growth in a society that's selective in what it typically embraces as growth?
You gotta create instances where growth is celebrated, is what I'm trying to say. Like, not just at the end when the dude is 80 and he getting a lifetime award. Like, nah, like, it's not 20s and then retirement, right? Like this shit in between. You know what I mean? It's like the concept of getting rich in your 20s is it's like one of the newest capitalistic ideas in the history of capitalism. People getting filthy rich in their 20s. Like this is a not happening thing until the last, 30, 40 years. Like this just doesn't happen unless you're an heiress, or you know what I mean? Unless you're somebody that it was passed on to. First generation rich don't happen in your 20s, man. That's just not it's just not what happens, man. But it's become like the idea is wild. The idea is normal. Somebody said the other day, this is the first time in history where the poor people are fatter than the rich people. Like, think about that shit.
Wow.
The poor people are physically fatter than the rich people.
Wow.
What is this? Like, how is this possible? They don't have the resources to be fat, but they're fatter. Anyhow, so I think how you combat that is by putting people in positions that look like things people would aspire to be. I think that, and again, there's levels before Jay-Z. There's a million levels before Jay-Z. There's a million levels before Kanye and Drake, and like there's lots of levels before that, that you can occupy and that people can look up to as they grow as people and say, okay, there's somebody speaking for me. Okay, cool. I'm in this mind state. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? And so I think that's how you do it, man. I think that you just put people in place,
So you say normalize growth at the end of almost every track. That's something that I peeped. What was the impact that you wanted that to have in the listening sequence of the album?
I wanted to remind you that getting older is some cool shit, man. Like, that's it. It's cool. Like, you can't tell me I ain't getting busy on these fucking records, man. Like, listen to me, dog. Like, it's not corny to still be rapping in your 40s, bro. Like, if you good at it, you know what I mean? Like it's not, bro. I got some stuff coming up, man. Like, I'm upgrading the dress, like the whole nine. It's like, yo, bro, like embrace this shit, man. Like, it's cool. Like, you gonna get older anyway. Like, it's gonna happen anyway. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
The last song on the album is entitled Ego, which is a subject I've had to think about because I have to say I'm not too fond of people who are egotistical or, actions are egotistical. But I wanted to ask you, like, how do you know when the ego becomes a disruptive or a negative thing? And if possible, how do you know when it's used in a positive way?
Because I get out of alignment with what things are and I get more sucked into what I want them to be. Right. Like I become more concerned with creating outcomes in situations in which I should just blend and be a part of certain, like all of this shit is energy, bro. Like it's all vibrations, and you know what I mean? I've had incredible opportunities to do certain things. I give you a perfect example, and this could sum the whole thing up. When I moved to Atlanta, my attitude was, I ain't about to do that bullshit they do. I'm about to show them like something. Like let me show them how it should really be done. These niggas ain't about to, I'm about to come in here and do this, that, and the third. When the truth of the matter is, artists want to be popular and they want to do popular music. And what they want is a variation of something that's popular because that's how you compete. That's how you sell music. It just is what it is. It's how you sell anything. You don't sell cereal inside of sandwich bags. You sell cereal inside of cereal boxes. They go in boxes. They have bags inside of them. You understand? You don't show up on the scene and say, I don't like this shit. I think that cereal should be. You understand what I'm saying? So I came to Atlanta as that guy. All of these cereal boxes. I want to sell cereal in a bread bag. I think that that's the way cereal should be sold. So here I go with all of these great opportunities, I'm going around all of these studios, sitting in front of all of these people playing this music, and telling myself they're gonna get on to what I'm doing. You know, not realizing that actually it works the other way. Like, prove to them that you can do what they need, and then if it's some time at the end, you can, and they trust you and they know you're competent, then you can say, hey, check me out with this, right? And it's like, oh, okay. You see what I'm saying? Like because it's a business. That's what I was trying to communicate with that song. It's like, man, like, my ego. I had another interview and they asked me what my biggest struggle has been in this business. This is my ego, man. It's always been my ego, bro. Like my inability to simply become in the moment what I needed to become at all times, and was just way too worried about because the truth was I didn't know how to do that shit. I was self-taught. I didn't know how to do that, and the simplest way to learn would have been to reverse engineer it. But I was too egotistical to reverse engineer it. Right? I'm from the school of Dilla. No beat sounds the same. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretentious as hell. You know, they gonna get it how I get it to them. Ain't nobody gotta put 808s in every beat. What are they doing? You know, I'm who am I, bro? You know, that's fucking ego. That's what I'm saying. You know, they waiting for the beat to drop, and I'm in the corner going, whoo, whoo. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, bro, that was dope. Hey, man, thanks for coming. See you later, G. Like, you know, and I'm walking out, man, they whack, bro. They ain't pick nothing, man. They want that bullshit. The truth is, bro, you didn't go in there and play the music that they needed. Man, if I tell you some of the people I could have had opportunities with, bro, blow your mind. Like, I'm sitting right there. Like, I could have been signed with somebody. All I had to do was play them something they could use.
Yeah.
That's all I had to do.
Wow.
You know, and I was overseas and got the production opportunity of a lifetime. Instead of me going to find guys that could do the thing, I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna show them, you know, ego, bro.
Yeah.
Ego.
Wow, man. Why'd you choose to close out the album with that song? Like,
because it is the ultimate barrier to normalizing growth. You know what I'm saying? It's the ultimate barrier, bro. It's the ultimate barrier to normalizing growth. Is your ego. You know what I'm saying? And you have to. I wish I could talk about what's coming. I'll say that normalized growth is a continuous thing, right? That it kicked off with that album, but it's a continuous thing that's going to continue to happen, and it's going to evolve. It already has, right? And as more normalized growth products are presented to you, I'm walking through more subjects, right? You know what I mean? Like, I'm walking through more subjects. I'm talking about more things. I'm expounding on things like ego, but more specifically, right? Like in this area and in that area, I'm talking about family and just all types of things that we deal with, you know what I mean, on a regular basis. And I'm getting deeper into them. So that I only say that because that sets up the next thing that's going to happen, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was gonna close by asking you about what's next. And you know, just thinking about that, I could visualize normalized growth as kind of like a movement, you know.
Yeah, it's continuing
direction. Yeah,
it's continuing.
Wow. So, brother Mark Sachs, I thank you so much for your time.
Bro,
we spent a lot of time on the platform today, man. But it was a pleasure building with you. I want to wish you much continued success.
Thank you, bro.
And yeah, man, like, your music is very, very refreshing. I love that you really tap into a lot of thought-provoking themes. I think that's the type of music that really stands the test of time. Like, it has longevity in any genre, but you know, being that hip hop is what, you know, I push and, you know, I'm really into. I think you're doing it really well, man. So I look forward to all the stuff you got next. Is there anything else you would like the folks to know as far as, like, you know, upcoming projects or how you intend for these 2 releases that came out this year to be received?
I would ask that people keep an open mind.
Mm.
You know, I'm an artist and I know how to do a lot of things.
Nice.
And I'm going to do them. and as I mentioned earlier, I work with other producers as well. So I've spent an enormous amount of time this year presenting what I've done with Clint, right? I'm going to present more things I've done with Clint in the near future, but I'm about to take a small turn and present work that I've done with another producer, Timo, here very soon.
Mm.
And that's a different energy. That's a different gear of music, right? And so that's coming. But I have something called MRK Mondays, right? So MRK Mondays, I drop a new song and video every week without fail. New song video every week. And MRK Mondays is primarily focused on you know, lyrics and I wouldn't say boom bap, but more traditional hip hop style music, right? And that's not going to change, right? That's going to stay the same. And I'm going to continue providing music like the music that you saw me do and you enjoyed. There's more of that coming very soon. But again, I'm changing. I'm about to change up the tempo a little bit, you know, and go in a slightly different direction just for a second. So I would say keep an open mind. It's still me, right? Like I'm still in it. I didn't go anywhere. I'm still there. But sometimes in hip hop, we could be a little too pretentious and we could hear how a certain beat sounds and we're like, oh, that's not for me. Right? You see what I'm saying? Like you'll take the cue of.
Yeah, I understand.
I would say that if you enjoy my artistry, give it a second. Hold on a second. Because I'm on it. So watch what I do to it, is what I'm saying. The beat might sound a little more like something you don't typically get into, but remember, I'm on it. So just hold on a second. Take a deep breath. The lyrics are there. The thought is there. You know what I mean? It's going to be packaged a little bit differently because there's a big plan here. There's something a lot more massive at work. You know, so that's all I say, man. Just keep your eyes peeled and and be open-minded. You understand what I'm saying? And we're gonna continue to ride this thing out, man. I wish you nothing but the best with the platform, man. And seriously, bro, I think it's super dope. You know what I'm saying? I didn't say that I founded DFPN, which is That Feeling Podcast Network. So I founded a podcast network. Shout out to my guy Black Mac that runs it on a day-to-day basis.
Nice.
There's like 8 to 10 podcasts running on it right now. You know, that Feeling, the record label. Shout out to the other artists on there. You know what I'm saying? My guy Wiz's Beast, my guy E Smitty, DJ 110. You know what I'm saying? Mac, aka your boy Black Mac. You know what I'm saying? Myself, man, Clint Taylor, Timo. You know, it's a record label. You know that has been out. That we've been around since 2018. You know, and so that's family. You know, so you should know about That Feeling, man. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it.
Indeed, man. You want to give the people your website or social media links where they can find you?
Man, type in MRK space SX on whatever you own, and I will be happy with whatever comes up. All right. I have gone to great pains to make sure that if you just do that, something interesting will pop up. So that's all you have to do. If you, whatever music platform, bruh, like if you like to listen to music on YouTube, type it in, bro. Like I've gone to great pains to make sure that when you do that, you find me everywhere you need to find me, baby. I don't have no particular project I want you to listen to first. I don't have any of that. Like there's so much content out there, bro, that like whatever you consume, thank you. You know what I'm saying? I believe and stand behind everything I've done. I don't need you. You ain't got to listen to the latest joint. If you get caught up on my album from 2 years ago, thank you. I appreciate that. Rock out, baby. It's all good.
Well said, man. So to all of our listeners and viewers, make sure y'all go to the website outtheboxmedia.com so you can stay connected. You can also subscribe on that website for free if you just want to be updated when each new episode comes out, and all the other stuff we have happening.
Support this man.
Thank you. Yeah, so so as always, we put out a new episode every Friday. So look forward to episode 82 next week. Till our next show, I just want to say to all of our listeners and viewers, stay focused, stay healthy, stay safe. Peace, love, and light. We out of here.